Welcome to today's Feel Good Flow. The intention behind this class is really just to get the body moving in all directions. So feeling good, finding space, just really a lovely practice. So as usual, I'm going to have my props available. I always love using a bolster just for Shavasana at the end. We'll also use it to start the class. If you don't have, just grab a bed cushion, or you can even use blocks as well, and a set of blocks. If you don't have blocks, it's not a problem. You can do this class entirely as is, but I will show you how you can incorporate them into the practice. And during pregnancy, it's really nice to have blocks because it helps just to create a little bit of space and height, especially as you move through your late second and third trimester. So with that, let's get started. I'm going to invite you to come into a comfortable seat. So I'm going to sit in kneeling. If you have a bolster or a cushion, you can actually come to sit on your cushion, letting the knees part nice and wide just to create some space. If this position doesn't feel great for the knees or the ankles, you can come into a cross-legged seat or even sitting up against the wall. So really finding a nice, comfortable position that you feel like you can maintain for a couple of moments. And settling in, getting really nice and comfortable here, adjusting your position as much as you need to find a nice steady seat. And just allowing the hands to rest onto the top of the thighs, closing the eyes. And taking a moment here first to just check in with how the body feels. If you'd like to give a little stretch in the neck, a roll in the shoulders before you settle into your shape. Take a moment just to be here, tuning in with how your body feels today. And fully arriving on your mat. And I invite you through this practice, as with all practices in your prenatal journey, to really move in tune with your body. If anything I offer doesn't feel great, just come into a child's pose or come into all fours or take a step back, and you can join us whenever you're ready. If there's another variation that you do that maybe I don't present, please listen to your body, listen to your breath. And this entire journey is really an opportunity to keep meeting ourselves where we're at. Sometimes that means taking it down a notch. Sometimes it means taking it up. Either way is fine, just as long as you feel like it really is the best for you. And if you would like to join me, connecting hands to baby, connecting hands to belly. And we'll find our deep belly breaths here. On the inhale, allow the expansion of the belly to give rise to the hands, relaxing through the pelvic floor. And as you exhale, hands soften. And noticing the breath first. And you can choose to stay with the rhythm or the pace of your own breath. If you would like to join me in a bit of a pattern, we're going to work to find even breath, which is an inhale of 4 and an exhale of 4. And this is nice just to bring observation to a part of the breath that might feel a little bit longer than the other. And you'll be working with your own count of 4. So I won't be counting it for you just because your 4 is different to mine. So it's more about just finding a nice inhale and matching the length of the exhale. If you feel that 4 is a little bit too short, you can increase it to 6 if you feel like your breath is happy with that. Let each breath really help you arrive in your body. We'll take 5 more breaths here. And on your last exhale, just allowing the hands to rest back onto the knees. We'll take a breath in. You can open the eyes, reach the arms up, maybe interlace the fingers. Just give a nice stretch through the sides of the body. If you would like to move a little bit from side to side, you can do so. And we'll release the hands down as we come onto all fours. So you can just remove your bolster or blocks out to the side. Come onto your hands and your knees. And we'll head straight into cat and cow. So inhaling to arch into the back, going as far as what the body feels comfortable with. And as you exhale, draw baby in, push through the hands as you round into the spine, maybe drawing chin to chest. And following that motion. So follow your own breath. The next time the inhale comes, it's an arch, and the exhale is a round. Now you may be happy with the traditional cat and cow, but if you'd like to bring in almost like a little bit of side to side movement, you can do almost like a circle. So as you inhale, you move through the arch, and exhale to round, taking it from side to side. So you're combining cat and cow with almost a side to side roll. And don't worry about the coordination of it. There's no right or wrong. You can change directions. It's just about doing what feels good. Evening it out between both sides. And let's finish off our last round here. And coming into a nice neutral spine. Going to take our right leg up, keep that right knee bent, almost as if you're trying to point the toes to the ceiling. We'll create big circles with this knee here. So right knee will come into the chest, out to the side, and just creating big circles. Trying to get as much through that range of motion as we can. Keeping your deep, slow, steady breaths. And then changing direction. So you'll take that right leg up, squeeze it to the side, bring it back in. After your 5th round, let's take that right leg back. Nice, strong, active foot. So either pointing the toes, flexing the foot, it doesn't matter. As long as you feel that that leg is nice and active, drawing baby in so the core is nice and strong. You can choose to stay here, especially if you're in your 3rd trimester and the load of the belly is really working the core. If you would like, you can shift the weight onto that right hand and maybe extend your left arm forward for bird dog. We're just going to hold it here for 3 more breaths. And then gently releasing that hand and knee back down. Take the knees wide, send the hips back, pushing into a child's pose. Let the hands relax down. The elbows can rest on the floor, or you can drop the entire body down, depending on you. And just checking in with the body and the breath once again. Okay, let's come back up onto our hands and our knees. I'm going to repeat that exact same thing on the other side. So you've got your left leg coming back up, pointing the toes up towards the ceiling. We'll start with big circles. Knee comes out to the side. Moving nice and slow as if you're trying to really control that movement. And there might be a particular part of these hip circles that feel tighter. That's okay. Just breathing through it. And then swapping direction. To be on your last circle, we'll take that left leg all the way back, finding a nice, strong, active leg. Checking in here, leg is active, Core is nice and pulling in. Either staying or shift the weight onto the left hand as you take your right arm forward for bird dog. 2 more breaths. And then dropping hand and knee back down. You'll come to stand onto your knees and we'll turn to face the side of the mat, just so that we've got space each way. And what you can do here is just give a nice roll in the shoulders, ease into the upper body. And then relaxing the shoulders back and down. Keep your right leg down. Let's take our left leg out to the side first. So if you can, for gate pose, we'll get our left toes pointing in the same direction as the hips. If you feel like you need to prop a little cushion under your right knee for softness, you can totally do that. We'll be here on our knees for a while. With that, taking the arms up, nice full breath in, and folding over our straight leg. So you're heading over to that left side, relaxing the head and the neck. And taking your deep breaths here as you feel that nice stretch all the way along the right side of the body. Bringing yourself up, right hand will come down onto the floor. Now you can choose to stay on your fingertips. This is sometimes where a block might be handy if you need some height. You can play around with it a little bit. Hand on block or floor, and we'll take that left arm up and overhead. Now feeling that stretch all the way along the left side. Using the strength of those obliques, bring ourselves up. Let's do one more each side. Left hand down, right arm up and over for our gate pose. And then coming through center, side plank variation, right hand down, left arm stretches up and over. Okay, take your left hand behind the head here, and then just rolling that top shoulder open as if you're trying to look up towards the ceiling. Bringing the body all the way back up, staying on our knees. I'm going to bend into our left knee, turn the toes away from us. So think warrior 2, but on your knees. Now, kind of working with your hip angle here, it's going to depend on you and how you feel. We want to try and get the left toes to point away from us with the knee tracking over the toes. But if you feel that this right knee needs to kind of adjust a little bit at an angle, adjust what you need to make sure your knees and your hips feel happy. All right. I'm not going to be here for too long, but just taking a kneeling warrior 2 if you've never done it before. Arms are going to come out to the side. We'll keep our gaze over our left hand. And finding our nice strong arms as if we're reaching out to the sides. And then a variation of extended side angle. Take that left elbow down onto the thigh. Reach your right arm up overhead. There's not much weight in that left hand. You should be able to reach it forward, still using the upper body to hold itself up. Good. Bring yourself all the way back down. Come back into your gate pose. Left leg is going to straighten out. You might want to use your hands here. We're going to come down into seated. Now, if your back knee is happy, we'll slide that left or that right foot into the center. I'm going to drop my hand down just to help me and come to sit in kind of like a half butterfly pose. So our left leg's out to the side, right leg is bent in. And if you want here, if you have a little cushion, you want to prop under the hips, you can do so just to get a little bit of height. Nice, strong, active left foot. Let's take an inhale, reach the arms up. And we'll start with a twist. So the right hand will come behind the back and the left hand onto the right knee. So we're not forcing or pulling ourselves into a twist here. You're just going as far as what the body feels comfortable with. And of course, as baby starts to grow, our twisting becomes a little bit less. So you may be used to twisting a lot deeper. Now that's obviously changing. So once again, we're not pulling, we're not forcing, we're just finding a comfortable point in our twist. If you would like to, you can even look over that right shoulder. Keep a hold of that left hand, lean towards your left leg, and we'll reach that right arm up and over into a side bend. Bringing the body up, planting that right hand behind the back, This is also a side plank variation. I know it as stargazer, which is quite an interesting name for it. You're going to roll onto that right knee, send the hips forward, sweeping that left arm back. Good. Bringing the hips all the way back down. We'll turn to face our left leg. So it's kind of sending all our attention to this left hamstring. Take the hands to each side of that left foot, or that left knee rather, and we're just going to gently lean forward. So you might get to the point where you feel a stretch in the hamstring. Maybe you would like to grab through the foot if you can. Of course, with all of our forward folds, baby snuggles in there nice and closely, so sometimes we can't go as far as what we used to if you have quite flexible hamstrings. So it's once again just meeting ourselves with this changing body, noticing how poses and shapes feel different, especially if you were doing yoga before pregnancy. Let's take 2 more breaths here. Bring yourself up, and then take this left leg in front of the right. So we're sitting cross-legged. And when you're here, we are just going to take the hands onto the knees and create nice big circles with the body. So you're leaning over to the left side and just drawing a nice circle with the upper body. The more that you lean forward, you may feel your hips or your lower back. And you don't have to make the circles very big. It's just about finding a really nice soothing motion. Changing direction. And then bringing it all the way up. Back onto our hands and our knees. And actually, it's more coming up to kneel standing. So you'll just shift the weight forward, come back onto your knees. If you have a block, you can swap it over to the other side. And we now take our right leg out into our gate pose. We're going to move through that whole lovely sequence on the second side. So start with your right toes pointing towards the front. Inhale, arm sweep up. Right hand comes down first, gate pose over that right leg, relaxing the head, neck, and shoulders. Bring the body up, maybe landing that left hand on the floor or on a block as you take your side bend over towards that left side. Inhale brings you up. Once again, we do that one more time. Right arm down, left arm up. And then back, left hand down, right arm up. Taking that right hand behind the head, opening up the chest, maybe looking up to the ceiling if you can. And then bringing the body all the way back up into our kneeling warrior 2. So right toes will turn away from us, shuffle into the knees and that back shin until you get a nice, really comfortable stance. It's really nice to incorporate these kind of side lunges as we move through pregnancy too. So we'll be doing quite a few of these. Nice, strong arms, gazing over those right fingertips, lunging forward as long as the knees and the hips are feeling happy. You know the drill. Once we kind of settle into our shape, it's our opportunity to just connect back to our breath as we hold for a few moments. And then our right arm will come down onto that thigh, sweeping your left arm up and over for an extended side angle. Bringing the body up. Right, shuffling or straightening that right leg out first. You may want to take your hands down onto the floor so you can slide your left shin in, come down to seated in your half butterfly. So left leg's bent, right leg out to the side, nice strong flexed right foot if you can. Inhale, take the arms up first, heading into our twist. Left hand behind the back, right hand on that left knee. Not pulling, not forcing, just allowing our body to kind of move into its natural range, as far as what our body feels comfortable with. If you want, you can look over that left shoulder. Keep your right hand where it is. Let your left arm sweep up and over towards that right foot. Okay, bring the body up. Stargaze or that side plank variation. Your left hand will ground to the side of that left hip, rolling the hips forward, push onto that left knee, sweep the hips forward as you reach that right arm up. And then lower the hips all the way down. Let's take the body over that right leg and get into the hamstring. So you're facing towards that right foot, hands along each side of the knee. It might just be a little creep forward. So as we move through pregnancy, it's not about getting to that end range or the furthest into the stretch. It really is just about kind of meeting ourselves at that first point of resistance. So that first bit of the stretch, and you may feel it very differently. You might feel through your back, side of the body, the back of the leg. So once again, not pushing to the furthest in the stretch. And then bring the body all the way back up. You can take that right leg in front. So we're back in the cross-legged, returning back to those nice big circles. Hands are going to be on the knees. And then we've got 5 big rolls in each direction. If you feel comfortable, you can close your eyes. And once you've finished your 5th round, swapping it out as we move in the other direction. Slow and steady. And bringing yourself all the way back up. You can choose to stay facing this way on your mat. You may want to turn slightly sideways. Either way is totally fine. So you'll step your feet onto the floor, taking your hands back behind you. Now, maybe if you can, turning your fingers towards your toes as we move into a reverse plank. For some of us, this may not feel so great for the wrist, in which case turning the fingers slightly out may feel more comfortable. So really just try it out here. This can be quite a big stretch for the front of the body and the shoulders, so you don't have to go as high. Just tune in with your body. Sometimes staying with the feet flat and the arms here and pushing up the chest is enough. All right, so as you move into your 3rd trimester, this may be okay. If you're happy to join us and you're happy to listen to your body and check in how it goes, you'll push into the feet, lift the hips, and holding it there. All right, maybe the hips don't go as high. And then lowering the hips all the way back down onto the floor. Keep your left foot where it is. Take that right ankle above the left knee. So I had to kind of lean a little bit back there to make some space. You can shuffle your hands as you need into a figure 4. So flexing into that right foot, the bony butt of the ankle is to the outside of the left knee. Now, the closer I push my chest towards my shin, the more of a stretch it's going to be for my right glute or my right outer hip. So the further it is away, that can be a starting point, and then slowly walking your hands forward until you feel a nice stretch there. One of my favorite things to do, not even in pregnancy, but it feels great too, but before as well, was to just find a little rocking movement here. I find movement can be really nice and soothing. So you can play around with stillness and movement and see which one feels better. Taking 2 more breaths. Good. Find a little bend into the elbow just so you can slide that right foot down. Fingertips facing forward, again, if they were before, and if you can do so. Pushing into the hips, one last reverse tabletop here. And then dropping the hips all the way down. Left ankle comes above the right knee. Make space where you can to get the leg there. And then working your chest towards that shin as far as what it feels happy with. Three more breaths. And then a little bend into the elbow. Release that left foot. Take the soles of the feet together, coming up to seated. Just give those wrists a nice roll out. As you move through pregnancy, if you're starting to feel the wrists are getting a little bit niggly, can play around not having as much weight on the wrist, which is sometimes hard in yoga, but sometimes it is just kind of leaning in or out of the weight and playing around with it. Also, sometimes having a bit of support under the wrists, like rolling up the mat, can help, which is tricky in this pose, but sometimes you can do it with downward dog and planks and things like that. So we'll take the hands down onto the shins and just allow the body to fold forward in your butterfly pose. And we'll hold this one for about 5 breaths. Bringing it all the way back up. Good. Rolling the knees over to one side doesn't really matter. We'll come to lie down on our side. Now, if you have a bolster or a pillow, I'll show you how you can use it as support for the head and the neck. I'm going to do kind of like a little bit of upper body rotations here, which can feel really, really nice. So you're going to come to lie on one side. Head is supported by a pillow or a block, or just relaxing on the floor if that feels comfortable. You can choose to have both knees bent. I find the easiest here, as opposed to both legs straight, just helps for your balance. So the movement we'll have here is both hands will be out in front of us, and the palms will touch. So it is a twist here, and you'll open up, taking that top arm towards the ceiling, going as far as what you feel comfortable with, maybe even finding a little cactus into the arms. I find that really helps to get a nice stretch through the front of the chest. And then as we exhale, we'll bring the hands all the way back down. Yeah, we'll do 2 more like that, opening up. And bringing the palms to touch. Last one, opening it up. You can hold it there. And then bringing the palms to touch once again. Staying in the side lying shape. You can bring your hand to your top hip. We'll straighten that top leg out. Bend into the knee. Now you may be able to grab a hold of that foot. For some of us, it's quite tricky to get there, and that's okay. You can just hold behind the hamstring or squeezing that leg in. If you can grab a hold of the foot, then finding a little quad stretch. Now it's a bit of a balance here. You might have to lean the hips forward and then kick that knee back so that it doesn't pull you too far back or forward. And just finding a nice stretch for the front of the hip here. And then slowly releasing that leg all the way back down so the knees will stack. Now you can choose to just roll over onto the other side. I'm going to bring myself up just so that I'm facing the camera. But for you, you may be able to roll over, and we're going to do the exact same thing on the other side. So you kind of know where we're heading at. Starting in your side lying shape, now you'll be on your right side, or the second side from what you started if you were on your right before. Knees stay bent, top arm opens up, cactusing the arms if you would like to. Getting a nice twist in the upper body. And then closing it off. Okay, 2 more like that. And the last one, opening it up, we'll hold it there just for a moment. And then bringing the hands all the way together. We'll straighten that top leg out, bending into that leg, either grabbing behind the hamstring. I know it's not as supported, but if you can, grab a hold of that foot and finding a little quad stretch here. And then gently release and come back to your side lying shape. We're going to move into our Shavasana here, and we'll start lying on our back. We're just going to do a few little rolling bridges for the hips. If you feel uncomfortable lying on your back, then I encourage you to just stay in side lying. We're not going to be on our back for too long, so if you know that's uncomfortable, you just completely skip it out and join us for our Shavasana. If you're happy to lie on your back just for a few moments, you'll just roll to lie on your back, stepping the feet onto the floor. Get the hips nice and close towards the heels. Arms going to be along the side of the body, and we're going to do rolling bridges. So that just means you're going to find almost a little tuck of the tailbone. If you would like to, you can maybe feel a little bit of engagement of that pelvic floor, squeezing through the glutes as you lift the hips up. And then curling down all the way, middle, lower back, and the pelvis. And then releasing pelvic floor at the bottom. So you can choose to incorporate the pelvic floor little connections if you would like to. Otherwise, just do your rolling bridges. So if you would like to squeeze in through that pelvic floor, curling up, push through the hips, get a nice lift at the top, and rolling all the way down, releasing at the bottom. Okay, let's do 3 more like that. So you can kind of go in your own time as you check in with how the hips are feeling, the back, all of the above. Last 2. And the last one. Maybe taking a little pause at the top there. And rolling the hips all the way down. We're heading into our Shavasana here. So your options are, if you're in your first and early second trimester, you may still be happy lying on your back. You can prop a little bolster under the knees for a bit of support there. We are going to be here for about 5 to 10 minutes. So at any time, if you do feel any dizziness or discomfort, well, join us on our side. For some of you, may be happy just to head straight into side lying. Option to have your bolster between your knees. I really love this position. If you have a block for your head, I know it's a little bit hard, but you can play around if you have an extra cushion. Props really are golden for comfort here. So I really recommend getting them and finding a nice side lying shape. For any reason, if neither of these positions work for you, you can take your Shavasana in seated, non-conventional, but really do what works for you. You might even have a wall nearby where you can be supported. So really, there's no right or wrong way to take your relaxation. This really is just about finding a position that brings you the most amount of ease. So once you've chosen your shape, just let your body sort of melt into the position you've chosen. Close your eyes. Let your breath be easy and effortless. And for a moment, just let yourself fully be here. So reminding ourselves that there's nowhere else we need to be. There's nothing else we need to do. This is time that we've carved out just to fully be present. And if you feel your mind is wandering, can you bring your awareness back to something that holds you in this moment? Maybe that means your breath. the feeling of your body on the floor, or maybe the feeling of your body using a prop. Maybe it's even a sound in your environment. For me, I hear these very gentle birds chirping outside on a nice warm sunny day. So tuning into one of those sensations just to help you stay grounded. Notice what it feels like to just be still. And for the last few moments here, is there any way that you can relax your body just 5% more? Maybe it's the jaw, the shoulders, or the toes. Is there an opportunity just to release a little bit of extra tension? Sometimes we're not even familiar that we're actually holding tension until we really release. Keeping the eyes closed and the body still, just simply bring your awareness back. So once again, that's tuning into your sensations of sound, touch, smell, maybe even taste. Maybe even deepening the breath. And if you would like, you can sigh it out. When you feel ready to move, let's start just with the fingers and the toes, so letting it come back very slow and steady. And if you're lying on your back, you can roll over onto your side to meet those in side lying. And taking your time for those in side lying, you'll push yourself up. And we'll all meet in seated in any position of your choosing. And once you're there, let's just connect palms to heart center, thumbs to touch the front of the chest. And still with the eyes closed, just finishing off our class with gratitude for ourselves, for carving out this time, for moving and connecting and breathing. When you're ready, you can gently blink open your eyes, just gazing down to the floor, getting used to the lighting as you welcome yourself fully back to this day. And thank you so much for practicing and moving with me. I hope you have a beautiful day or evening further.